Hi. I'm Arma Saeed and you're watching The History of Afghanistan on your favorite YouTube channel, The History House. Since South Sudan became an independent state on the 9th of July 2011, there are now 195 independent sovereign nations in the world, not including the disputed but de facto independent Taiwan, plus some 60 dependent areas, and several disputed territories, like Kosovo. 193 sovereign states are members of the United Nations and are equally represented in the UN General Assembly. 2 non-member countries have permanent observer states, the Holy See and the State of Palestine. We are going to start a series where you will get to know about the brief history of all countries, by selecting country alphabetically, and how you can apply for visa for all those countries. Please like this video and subscribe the channel for latest articles and updates on daily basis. Afghanistan is the first country of the list. Afghanistan, officially the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, is a mountainous, landlocked country in South-Central Asia at an important geopolitical location. It connects the Middle East with Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent. It is bordered by Iran, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. It has a short border in the Wakhan Corridor Panhandle with Xinjiang, an autonomous region of China. With a surface area of 652,000 square kilometers, the country is somewhat larger than the Iberian Peninsula, or slightly smaller than US state of Texas. Afghanistan has a population of 26.5 million people. In 2015, capital and largest city is Kabul. Official languages are Afghan Persian or Dari, 50%, and Pashto, 35%. The highest point in the country is Mount Noshak, 7,485 meters, in the Hindu Kush mountain range. This video aims to give you a broad overview of Afghanistan's art, culture, people, environment, geography, history, economy and government. Historical background. Archaeological evidence indicates that urban civilization began in the region occupied by modern Afghanistan between 3000 and 2000 BC. The first historical documents date from the early part of the Iranian Achaemenian dynasty, which controlled the region from 550 BC until 331 BC. Between 330 and 327 BC. After defeating the Sassanians at the Battle of Qadisiya in 637, Arab Muslims began a 100-year process of conquering the Afghan tribes and introducing Islam. In 1220 all of Central Asia fell to the Mongol forces of Genghis Khan. In 1504 the region fell under a new empire, the Mughals of northern India, who for the next 2 centuries contested Afghan territory with the Iranian Safavid dynasty. Dost Mohammad ruled at the beginning of the Great Game, a century-long contest for domination of Central Asia and Afghanistan between Russia, which was expanding to the south, and Britain, which was intent on protecting India. In 1880 Abdur Rahman, a Durrani, began a 21-year reign that saw the balancing of British and Russian interests, the consolidation of the Afghan tribes, and the reorganization of civil administration into what is considered the modern Afghan state. In 1919 Afghanistan signed the Treaty of Rawalpindi, which ended the Third Anglo-Afghan War and marks Afghanistan's official date of independence. In 1933 Amanullah's nephew Muhammad Zahir Shah, the last king of Afghanistan, began a 40-year reign. The 1988 agreement did not settle differences between the government and the Mujahideen, and in 1992 Afghanistan descended into a civil war that further ravaged the economy. The Taliban granted the Arab terrorist organization Al-Qaeda the right to use Afghanistan as a base. As Al-Qaeda committed a series of international terrorist acts culminating in attacks on the United States on September 11, 2001, the Taliban rejected international pressure to surrender Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. When the United States and allies attacked Afghanistan in the fall of 2001, the Taliban government collapsed, but Taliban and Al-Qaeda leaders escaped. A United States-led International Security Assistance Force began an occupation that is still in place in 2008. In December 2001, Afghan leaders in exile signed the Bonn Agreement, forming an interim government, the Afghan Interim Administration, under the leadership of the Pashtun moderate Hamid Karzai. In 2002, Karzai was selected president of the Transitional Islamic State of Afghanistan, whose ruling council included disparate leaders of the anti-Taliban Northern Alliance. Hamid Karzai was declared the first ever democratically elected head of state in Afghanistan in 2004, winning a second five-year term in 2009. The National Assembly is Afghanistan's national legislature. It is a bicameral body, composed of the House of the People and the House of Elders. The first legislature was elected in 2005 and the current one in 2018. After a disputed election, Ashraf Ghani became President of Afghanistan and Abdullah became Chief Executive Officer of Afghanistan in September 2014. One day later, the new Afghan government signed the bilateral security agreement. The 2019 presidential election was held on September 2, 2019, with Ashraf Ghani narrowly re-elected over Abdullah who contested the preliminary results. When the final results were released in February 2020, Abdullah rejected them, forming a parallel government and organizing a separate inauguration. Nonetheless, Ghani was officially sworn in on March 9, 2020. The dispute was resolved on May 16, 2020, when the two signed a power-sharing deal whereby Ghani remained president. However, both would choose an equal number of ministers and Abdullah would lead peace talks with the Taliban.